Hello.
Hello, everybody.
We're back.
It's Wednesday
It's
already.
Wednesday.
Though,
I know.
if you asked any of us at any given point of the day, we might
had
not know what day it
no
is
idea.
because it's been an interesting one. It was like, oh yeah, we're gonna go live today.
I know. I was a nice couple of days, and we're back.
We are back. So thank goodness the air conditioning is working in here because otherwise you would probably passed out by now.
It might have happened.
Yep.
Yeah, 89 outside. That's about 20 degrees past my breaking point.
Yeah. So yeah, you were cute. You were like, I can't go to the mailbox. I'm like, I'll go. It'll feel good. It felt great until I walked back in. I was like, wow, that's even cooler than it was.
Yeah.
But yeah.
When I was complaining about being hot yesterday, Dave's like, go outside and come back in. It'll feel cooler. I'm like, I don't think that works.
Did you
when
do
I'm
that?
Hot. No.
No.
I went downstairs instead. And then when
Probably
I came upstairs,
smarter.
it felt hotter.
That probably happens too. That's
I was
yeah.
like, that did not work in my
So,
favor.
Hello, Miss Shirley. Yeah, it's definitely warm.
Yes, summer finally arrived.
It has
here.
arrived. It has arrived. So I don't know if it's here to stay. I mean, I know it's not supposed to be quite this hot forever.
Yeah.
But Yahoo.
Yeah.
Yahoo. Oh.
I don't know
Yay.
why.
Yay!
All
Your
right.
order is in. Yay, yay, yay. So yeah, I know we've sort of already had this conversation, but neither one of us got as much done this weekend as we wanted to.
No. I spent a lot of money this weekend
Yeah.
on siding and my
septic
new septic
field?
tank. That luckily it's not the field.
Not
it's
the field,
tank.
it's the tank that sits in the field. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna come just in time for Dave's birthday. So I said to him, that could be your birthday present, right? Since it's July now. I got siding for my birthday, and you can get the shitter.
Now it's you. Usually it's me that slips. Yeah. Obviously that didn't quite go as she planned and wanted to be this weekend did not necessarily.
It doesn't always go as planned,
No,
does it?
no, it does not.
No.
But yeah, so yeah, I cleaned a lot. I didn't sew a lot.
Because you have house guests coming.
I do have house guests coming. My baby's coming. Well, she's not my baby, but you know,
She's your
they're
baby.
always your baby.
Yeah.
Is coming home tonight, so pick her up from the airport this evening, and she's gonna hang out for 10 days. So that'll be fun. So yep, cleaning up some stuff and getting things ready. And
So you're a part-timer this week.
this week, though, I'm gonna be here normal. I mean, I'm not gonna stay late.
But you're off tomorrow
But
and then off Saturday.
I am off tomorrow and off Saturday,
You only have to work 2 days this week.
which is funny because I was scheduled off Saturday before, because I was supposed to go to that wedding,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, yep, Caitlin can go to the wedding. I'm gonna stay home and play with Sam since I'll be off work. So
Yeah.
so yeah, it'll be nice, and then yeah, it's gonna be a hard work week this week. I don't know if I can handle the 2 days,
days,
that I'm gonna
yeah.
have to put in hours here. I'm gonna come back next week and not know what's going on though.
Right? Yeah, you go
So-
from part-time to full-time with a bang.
With a bang.
Yeah.
So but
We've
yeah,
been busy.
we have been staying very very busy.
Yeah. The Kimberbell Day kits have arrived
Arrived and sold out.
and sold
So,
out, so we're out of those.
Working on getting those turned around. So we have most of those need to literally get turned around and shipped back out. If you are joining us, sort of, for Kimberbell Day, if you've purchased your kit from us, there is the option of getting the bonus CD as well. So if you make the Kimberbell purchase that qualifies you for the bonus CD, you can do that as well. So the bonus CDs also arrived along with the kits. So if you would like to do that, you can certainly contact us. We're working on an email, but you know, not being here for a few days, we're playing a little bit of catch up. So if you would like to place that order, we can ship everything out together, save everybody on a little bit of effort on our end and money on yours for shipping. That would be certainly something we're happy to do. So
Yes, and then we've been frantically working on our block of the month. We are
we're seeing the home stretch.
We're starting to see it
There is a light.
at the end of the tunnel.
There
Yes.
is a light. It's a beautiful thing. I like light.
Right.
It's been really dark for a long time.
And
But-
you have your Kimberbell event next month.
I do. It's a
early.
month away, literally. So I'm excited because it's super cute.
It
So I need to get cracking on getting the samples sewn and the videos started, because that will be here before we know it. So if you have not yet, but you wanted to, the treats for my boo is coming up literally a month from today. And
Yeah, they'll be asking for our final numbers
they'll
soon.
be asking within the next couple of weeks. We'll be having to send in, because they ship those out about 2 weeks prior. So we'll need to send in a final number. So if you've been deciding and waffling on that, you'll probably want to make that decision so that you can get that ordered so we can get it to you on time.
Absolutely.
So that's what's going on around here.
Yeah, we have a software class that's
Yep.
sold out
Next week.
next week in store. Gene is going to teach, and he's going to, Tucker is going to audit
To assist?
Assist, yeah, so she can take over the software
The
class.
software class.
So she's
for
excited
the
about
next one.
that.
So yeah, that'll be
We're
fun.
excited about having a couple of full classes. So make sure you guys are really mean to Gene.
Because it wouldn't be fun for us any other
It
way.
wouldn't be fun. Ask all kinds of weird,
All
strange
kinds of
questions.
weird
Yep.
stuff.
So
Absolutely.
Start those now.
Hello. I think that looks like Leslie's picture.
Yes,
But it
I
doesn't
think so
have her
too.
name. But I think that's who that is.
Yeah.
So hi.
Hi. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's
That's
like
what's
lots of fun, lots of
stuff.
things happening,
Yeah.
and we did have a nice weekend, though it was very warm. But yep, that's her. So you are most welcome. So let's share some more knowledge. What do you say?
Yeah, let's talk about
This-
craft vinyl, sign vinyl, pressure sensitive vinyl. All
So
the same thing.
they are all the same thing. Different places will call it a different name.
It's
but
like stickers.
it is basically creating a sticker. It doesn't matter really what it's called, but that is what it's going to do. It's going to create a sticker in whatever shape you tell it to cut, and we're going to talk about how to do that. So it is very different from heat transfer vinyl in more than one way.
Yes.
So last week we talked about heat transfer vinyl, and I meant to have a piece over here, but there we go. So when you have heat transfer vinyl, you've got the clear, which is what you see shiny right in the light there. That transfer is part of heat transfer vinyl. You don't have to do anything additional for a transfer carrier. With craft vinyl, you do. There is no carrier built in. You have to purchase that, or you're moving everything manually one at a time.
Yes.
So one very big difference. Second very big difference, heat transfer, you cut pretty side down. Craft vinyl, you cut pretty side up.
Yes. So no
So
mirror image.
no mirror imaging. So the only time that you are going to mirror image is if you are putting it on the back of something. So a window. So if you're putting a sign on a window that is
Yeah,
going
so
through.
it's on the inside.
It's
Yeah.
on the inside of the window, and you're going to see through the other. Then of course you're going to mirror image. Otherwise, it'll only be readable from the inside, not from the outside. Or we've got this really adorable project here. If you are doing glass, so this is a glass cutting board, and you can see it's a reindeer. It actually has the words to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer that actually make up the body. You can see it a little bit better against my white there. And what that does is basically is adhered to the smooth side, which is the back of the glass, and then you can read it through the front.
Right.
So you can still use this cutting board without cutting all of your stickers every time you
hard
go
work,
to
yeah.
all that hard work. So I have used that technique a ton. I have given so many glass gifts and done the backs of the cutting boards. That I picked up, that particular one, granted that one's like a good 5 years, if not more old. But that particular one I bought for $5.99, I think, at Walmart. Usually whatever color the corners are, because I have found them in different colors on the corners, I'll match the vinyl to whatever the corner is. So
Makes sense.
It looks a little bit more finished, I guess. But you know, that's Christmas, so it made more sense to be
Green.
Yep, though his nose should have been red. But
Live and learn.
well, you know, little things.
Antlers could have been brown.
We could have done a lot of things. It's just a matter of how far do you want to go in cutting multiple colors and layering and all of that kind of thing. So my answer was 0. I wanted it done one and done. So it was all in one color. But I have a beautiful tree that has a grass line that has literally grass. And then I'll put like the fellhowers. And you can put in an established, you can put names in there. It makes a beautiful gift for weddings or something like that. So super simple, very inexpensive gift, but you can touch that up and make a beautiful, very expensive looking gift. So lots of things. And of course, they don't actually have to cut on it.
Right.
They can just set it up against their...
It can be your decoration.
It can be a decoration, exactly. So craft vinyl is literally creating a sticker. Signed vinyl, same thing. You're creating a sticker. I have done this on like wood signs that you buy a wood sign that you can put something on.
My camper.
Stuff like that. You know, I have some stuff in my sewing room, cute little things. I actually have a really, really cheesy cabinet in my sewing room. I picked it up years and years ago. It was on sale somewhere, and I was like, oh yeah, that'll be great. And it works. I'd love to pitch it and burn it right now and put something else in there. Because I'm forever, like you're always hitting your leg on that. I'm forever hitting my knee on a spot on this cabinet, and it just drives me absolutely crazy. I'm sure you guys have all had something like that, right? So I'd like love to replace it. But on one of the doors, I cut out a sewing machine and I put the sewing machine on there, and then on the side of the cabinet I have a dress form. So I made it cuter. So it is cute. It's just gives me a bruise on my knee all the time.
And
little things.
My old house, my sewing room door was like etched glass. It was like frosted glass.
Yeah.
And that's what I had. So I had Sarah's sewing studio at the top, and then I had sewing notions all the way down,
very cool.
all the way around it. It was it's the only thing about the house that I miss. I kept telling Dave, can we just take the door? I don't have any place for it in the new house.
But I want the
But
door.
I feel like we need the door.
I would have totally taken it for you.
So
Slap
we
some
could've just
crappy
put
door in
some
its
other
place.
door, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, they just took it down, or they definitely didn't save
They
the
definitely
stickers.
destroyed what was on it.
Oh, I'm sure they were going to turn my sewing room into like their dining room. So
Probably not.
yeah, but I keep saying someday I'll redo that. Hasn't happened yet.
Very cool. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really nice way of
You can really personalize.
Yes.
So, and you can personalize almost anything. The only thing that you'll want to keep in mind when using this is it's not dishwasher safe. So anything that you put that on anything that you put that on that would need to be washed is going to need to be hand washed. So if you are giving it as a gift, you'll want to make sure that you let that person know, don't put that in the dishwasher, because otherwise it's not going to come out with all of the stickers in place, because there'll be some down at the bottom in the drain, and then your drain won't work.
Right.
And then nobody will be happy.
right.
So
I have a couple of Tervis mugs that had stuff on them that, of course, say they're dishwasher safe. They're not.
nah. Yeah, I have found that I just hand wash anything that's like that these days.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, supposedly my cute little mug over there, which is not craft vinyl.
Same thing.
But I am like, I don't want that to come off.
Yeah.
And I know if I put it in there in that heat, it's gonna start peeling, and it's
And
gonna,
that's exactly what it does.
Yep,
Yep.
so-
Same thing.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, any of that kind of stuff, we definitely would recommend a hand washing. So, some other things, speaking of cups and mugs, so I do have a little sample here. Yep. So this is, so we used to, instead of saying stitching with SnL, we used to just have our Tuesdays with SnL. We've stepped up our game. We now sound cooler.
Yes.
So I made us
hundred of these under our belt.
right. I made us some cute little cups that for a little while we drank out of these instead of our random whatevers. So I've got the Tuesdays with SnL, and I didn't want Hayden to feel left out. So on the back side it says, and Hayden too. We've gained some people, so they're not really all inclusive.
No.
We're leaving some people out. And then because they all looked the same, I put our names on the sides so that everybody would know which ones was whose, because otherwise, you know, you could grab the wrong cup.
That's right.
God forbid.
It was during COVID.
It was during COVID. You are not wrong on that. So that is
Now we'll just share, I guess.
you know, yeah, swap and spit in a whole different kind of way. But so the cups are probably one of the most commonly things that I have seen craft vinyl done without in the realm. Everybody's putting their names or some logo or design or, you know, their favorite something or other on cups. It's just like a huge thing. So that the one thing to be careful of is on a curved surface, you'll want to be careful with the application. So I actually did a whole class on that, which is why we have these in the shop. It's because we actually have cups, and we did a whole class, and we had a bunch of different options that you could pick from and what you put on there, and we talked about how to put it on a curved surface and some of the tricks and things like that. So, but cups, and we do actually have some here, and I'm pretty sure they're even online.
Yeah.
So you could check these out. They're really great. Fun colors and really nice to use with craft vinyl,
Well, and
if that's something that you're looking for.
Since we started doing this, there's lots of, I mean, we know our customers are on Amazon and Temu and all of those other places, right? There are a ton of...
There's so much out there.
Right, and there's so many, like tools to help you do this. There's like a laser light that you can
to line
your curves up and things like that, and so many different things.
And even you know, how do you set that down so it doesn't roll?
Right.
There's even like the little beanbag type things that you set them in,
noodles.
or the noodles, and there's all different kinds of things that people are giving you the tips and the tricks on how to do this. There's all kinds of
so
stuff
many
out
things
there.
Out there.
Because that is a hard thing. Is okay, how do I balance that to
because
not
we don't
oops
have
it?
three
Because
hands.
you know, once you stick it, it sticks. It's really hard to get it off. So you definitely want to put it down in the right spot. But yeah, the curved surfaces are a whole different ball of wax. I mean, in fairness. So definitely a challenge on, not hard, just different.
Right.
And you want to pay attention.
It's like double
That one
curved.
has two different curves. So it's got this one plus the curve at the base.
Yep.
So it's not, you know, it's a little bit more like a wine glass.
That's why, like, if you go to a craft show, you see so many, like, the skinny ones that are like this, that because they only have one round surface to deal with instead of the second one.
Definitely more a simpler aspect if you only have one curve to consider.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you don't want little bends.
No. Now you know why that's the
Now
popular
you know
shape.
why you see those out there. So, okay.
Should we cut?
We can certainly cut, and we'll talk about that, and then we can talk about some other uses and stuff like that too. So, as I mentioned, there is transfer. So I've got a couple pieces of transfer over here, and then your actual vinyls come in, you know, oodles and oodles of different colors and options and things. So it's just a matter of what, you know, do you want there to be. I don't know that I have...
I need a couple more words.
How do I screw this up? How do I do this wrong? I can cut more than one thing, but last time I did it right and I did it wrong. I don't know that I have a wrong.
You could mirror it.
I could mirror it, but
of course it's a seashell, so it won't matter.
It wouldn't really matter. So this is the craft vinyl. You can see that it says craft vinyl right there. That is, again, our name for this product. There are many out there, but what we're doing is creating a sticker. So anything that's going to be an adhesive craft vinyl. So that's the key that you're looking at is going to be that adhesive piece there, versus fusible. That's the difference.
Yes.
Not fusible, it's an adhesive. And then the transfer paper also comes in a roll, and then you would just, again, need the size that would be for whatever you're cutting. So you would cut that out of, you know, cut off the piece that you need, store it. You can reuse transfer paper for a while, not forever.
Right.
But until you pick it up. I have found if you are using wood, that transfer paper doesn't last through more than maybe one, definitely one, maybe two. But all of the wood particles, it just absorbs right into the transfer paper, and then it doesn't pick up the new designed very
That
well.
makes sense.
So
Because it still has to be sticky enough
it
to do
still
that.
has to be sticky enough to pick that up. So I am going to, again, if you remember from last week, I cut over here. Let's cut in the gold, then they can see it a little bit better. So this is, again, the craft vinyl. The back is just kind of like, if you guys remember back in the day when we, you know, bought stickers and we had collections and things
Yes.
like that. There was that waxy paper in the back.
Mhm.
That is what that backing is. It's just a waxy back paper. We don't want to use a mat that's too sticky because we want that paper to come back up. So make sure that it's not a super new standard.
So no fabric mat?
Definitely not a fabric mat.
Can you embroider on craft vinyl?
I would not use craft vinyl as a embroidery. It's not going to bend and flex as you would want it to in general.
It doesn't have, it definitely
doesn't have a fabric
the same
feel.
No, if you, and you know, this is kind of, it's pretty much the same stuff that you see like on lettered vehicles and things like that on the road. So it's, when we use the heat transfer vinyl, the reason heat transfer vinyl works is because of the heat. So because we can fuse it
for a permanent fuse there, that the holes that we're puncturing through the needle aren't going to make it fall off later because we've permanently fused it.
Right.
Without that insurance,
it would just fall out.
It would just fall out later on.
Right.
So
and that's what would happen with this. The sticky isn't designed for fabric, so if you put it down on there and then you did a satin stitch or something around it, it would just fall out.
Those edges and it wouldn't stay.
stuck.
It might stay there for half a day or whatever, but
Right.
as soon as you bend the fabric, it would just pop off.
Exactly.
It doesn't bend and flow like fabric, like your heat transfer films are going to do.
Right.
They have a definite different feel to them.
Now you could use it for like on
Cards.
paper cards and stitch over top of it
From that
something
perspective,
like that.
because it would stick to the paper for sure.
Yeah.
So from that, if you're doing card decorating and that, for sure you can do
Or a
that.
little free motion stitching on top of a card with this on top of it to embellish over it, but not for fabric.
And I have added this to paper.
Yeah.
I have added heat items to paper.
Exactly.
So I have done both. When I'm just trying to add a little something, I have done that to add it on paper. I have not stitched with this on paper, but I have added it to a paper design.
Yeah,
So.
it would stitch just fine on paper because you wouldn't be putting that many stitches on it because
It's going to be more of an open area design because anything that you're
Otherwise,
putting on a
you
card is going to be an open area design, or you'd have a hole in your card.
Right.
But the
Be a punch out.
it would be a punch out. Otherwise, absolutely correct. So I've got the pretty side up here. There's paper underneath here that's like that sticky wax.
Our
not
sticker
sticky,
base.
which is going to allow the sticker to be released off of that after we've cut.
Yep.
So just like with the heat transfer, we only want to cut halfway through. We only want to cut the colored portion. So in any type of vinyl, we're only wanting to cut that colored portion. So we're going to use the half cut feature on our scan and cut here. If you don't have a DX model, you're going to want to adjust your blade down so that you're only cutting partway through. You're not wanting to cut through the waxy paper here, and you're not wanting to cut the transfer paper on your heat transfer.
So you would have to decrease your pressure.
You're going to decrease that, and you're going to put your blade down to probably 0 or maybe a half. I've even seen people do
Negative, depending on how it
negative
sits in
1
there.
depending upon their blade. So I have definitely seen a lot of different things. So I am just selecting cut on here. I have my vinyl blade in, I have my half cut on, and I'm just going to go ahead and let that cut here. So it's just going to take a second. It won't take very long. I didn't pick a real complicated design. It is just a seashell.
Something built into the machine.
This is a built-in design. I didn't do anything weird. I literally just picked it up. I didn't even change the size. So I literally just grabbed it.
Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I know, right? I'm doing what I'm told. God forbid. But
we probably need to clean that roller, shouldn't we?
it's looking, it's getting some yuck on there.
Little fabric dust in there.
Yeah, we can probably get one of our wipes from up front and just kind of run it over there.
We did cut a little bit of fabric on it.
We have cut a little bit. I did replace the blade, but all right.
so quiet.
So I've got the piece cut, and I think you can actually kind of even see the lines a little bit in there. So just like always, I don't remove anything off my mat before I know I got the cut that I wanted. So I'm actually going to just remove one of these inner parts just to make sure that it did what I wanted. I can see that I'm good to go. So now I can remove that off if I am ready, unless I wanted to cut something else, of course, which I don't today. Some days I do. I am just going to cut. Usually I do this with my rotary, but
Use your fabric scissors.
those are really great scissors, man.
Really great scissors.
So I am going to move this out of the way so that you guys can see what I'm doing just a little bit better. All right. So here we have our piece. We've got the piece that I checked. This is the hook that Brother sells for use with our scan and cut. I just needed to, it wouldn't let me stab it on the pad. It just went in. So I need to get a corner to come up is really all that I need to do. And once I have that, it will weed pretty simply. So there's the outside. I used to try to come up with something to do with all these saved pieces. Let me tell you, there's nothing you can do with all these saved pieces. Just throw them out. You can try, but if the side pieces are large enough and you have heat transfer, like these guys here, theirs isn't really big enough, but you could save that piece for like an applique or something like that. So you could cut off pieces and save for applique stuff, but these guys, there's just no way to keep the sticker from sticking to things that you don't want, and it's just not worth it, I guess is my bottom line of that. So I've got a pretty cute little seashell here. This, because it's one piece, I could peel this up and move it pretty easily, but it's also large.
Yeah.
So I might get a bump or a fold somewhere when I go to try to smooth that out wherever it is that I'm trying to get it to go.
Right.
If I had, for instance, like what we had last week, and I have multiple items, if I am trying to move them individually, especially words, trying to get them to stay in line is absolutely impossible, because they're going to twist at the last second. You can have them in a holding it with the tweezer, and you're pushing with your other hand, and trying to get everything. It doesn't work. It is absolutely going to not end up in the and maybe we'll do craft or something out of something else.
Okay.
So that they can see how that is. But if I want to transfer this, is this big enough? Yep. All right. What I can do is take my transfer paper and place that just big enough over my design. Ours is kind of cool because it does have these lines. So if you are trying to make sure that a straight line is kept with your lettering, you can line up the line there with the bottom of your letters. And then when you go to transfer it somewhere, you have a line to use, which extends out past your design, which is really, really great. I don't have my scraper tool, which I normally use. So I'm going to use my tape dispenser, and I'm just going to rub. And this is where, you guys can't see what I'm doing.
You want a
Here we go. No, I'm good.
You sure?
This will work. Nah, it is going to work. So basically, when you see the pressure.
You need a card? I got a card.
I don't know. Can I keep it? She's offering me a credit card here, guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So if
There's a lot of siding on there right now.
Not a lot of extra space, I imagine. So the idea is we're applying pressure. It is pressure sensitive vinyl. So when you see that name out there, that's where that comes from, is because there has been pressure applied. So you can actually see, I don't know, there it goes. You can see the little edge around the outside. That's kind of the cue that, yep, I got a hold of it. And so when I go to peel, it's now stuck to this instead of to this. And so when I go to stick it into wherever I'm going to go. I'm going to line it up. I am going to get that wherever it needs to go. I'm going to press, but then I also need to apply pressure to wherever I'm placing it as well. And what that does is it gets it stuck to your item instead of...
I think you're going to start a new trend.
I'm telling you, this works great, actually.
Nice and heavy.
It is. It's got some nice weight to it. So then all I need to do is gently and generally at a 45-degree angle, I find works best, remove my transfer, and it is stuck perfectly to wherever I've put it.
Right.
Hence the transfer paper. You can reuse this by placing it back on your background there and then just throw it in your box of wherever you keep this stuff and have a usable piece for another time. So to see what we're talking about from the perspective of a line of different items, I'm just going to grab a font, and evidently I wasn't going to grab that one. It just floated out of my way. And how big is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I moved my mat, so I don't know. Not going to fit there. So I am going to stab that there, and it's going to get close. We're going to just squeeze that. Oh, not that one. That button moved fast, didn't it?
It went from nothing to like super fast.
All right. 1, 2, 3. I think that's going to work. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we're going to basically do the exact same thing, but this time I am going to cut 4 different letters. Just going to do the word test so you guys can see what that looks like. So
slide it over just a smidge if you can. There you go.
So real quick, it'll only take a second to cut. Yeah, I know you can't see what I was doing on the screen. I'm sorry. All I did was bring up an alphabet, which was a built-in, typed in the letters T-E-S-T. And you still can't see what this is doing. There we go. Maybe that, kind of.
It's more about the product.
And then I shrunk it to fit on the piece of vinyl that I had,
yeah.
Which normally I would make the vinyl fit my project, not the other way around.
Yeah.
But for today, we were just making this work. So I am just going to get rid of that over there. So again, before I remove the item from my mat, I always check and make sure that it did what I needed. So I got a very clear cut, so I'm good to go. I am now going to remove that piece from my mat. And I am going to peel the rest. Especially with thin pieces, I don't recommend that you go really fast when you are weeding craft vinyl. It tends to sometimes stick to the sticker part itself. So especially like dots and that kind of thing.
Yeah, you lose your eyes.
You can lose the dots of an eye or those types of shapes. And the reason is, honestly, I think it's static cling.
That makes sense.
Is because as you're pulling it, there's a little bit of static cling and it just jumps off the wax because it's small and it sticks to the sticker on the top. So just go slow. And I find that that works a lot better if you have tiny cuts. If you don't have tiny cuts, then don't worry about it. So I am going to now move that. So you can see if I needed to move these and get them all on a line, for me to pick up an individual piece and place all 4 of them, they would not end up
It would be so much harder.
exactly where I needed them to go.
Right.
I would, my E might be slightly higher or slightly angled or both.
Or your spacing.
Or the spacing is going to be off between individual layers. That is where this really comes in, is where you have multiple letters or multiple pieces that you're trying to attach. For instance, that Rudolph that we were doing earlier, if you can't even begin to do a project like that without transfer paper, because there's no way you'd get all of those pieces.
I mean, that's like going back to those 4x4 days when we were trying to do a 22x22 design.
Right? And then here you can see I have a line, and I can actually line up the bottom of my letters with the line on my transfer. And then when I am moving that, I can use that line to line up with whatever my project is. So if I have a line anywhere,
Right.
I can use that to make sure that I'm straight, whether it's the angle that I'm looking for, whatever it happens to be, I can use that as that visual. I'm going to push this back out of the way again. Try not to dump my scan and cut on the ground.
That would not be good.
That would, yeah, I don't think Jean would like that.
It would be hard to deny that we did it. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened. When we got here after our weekend off, it was on the floor.
It worked 3 times and then it stopped.
On video? No, I didn't do that on video. All right, so let's go this way. I need to give that pressure so that it sticks to the transfer instead of the backing. And then I gently do this. If for some reason when you do that first, it doesn't work, just put it back down, give it a little bump on that spot. If you get an edge that didn't quite stick, just go back, rub a little bit, and then continue on. So you can see that all of those are right on that line. And again, there's no way I would have been able to get those lined up.
No.
Had I been trying to do that free, just from a visual perspective. So now I can, with just a very small gap, get that aligned using that line at the bottom with approximately the same amount of gap or whatever it is that you're trying to do. And then again, we're going to rub. And then we're going to remove, again, going at that 45-degree angle is going to be the easiest. If, again, something is not sticking down here, but sticking up here, we're going to just rub again so that the sticker has a little bit better adherence to the base. And then we continue on. Again, this piece can be reused unless whatever surface you're transferring to has so much fuzz or stuff that you end up picking that up. So there you can see that I am equally spaced from the base of that paper, and it moved super easy and super quick.
Yes.
So that is craft vinyl, how easy it is to cut, to weed, and to transfer. A couple different pieces done super simple.
So
I lost my other one. Where'd it go?
what happens
Here we go.
if you cut everything perfect, you get it on your transfer sheet, and then you cannot get it on your surface?
Meaning it doesn't want to come off the transfer?
Or it doesn't want to stick to your surface.
Whatever the
So
surface is.
You got to make sure you clean your surface first. It's a
So,
good idea, right? You want to get oils and things like that
make
off.
sure that you clean that. So an alcohol wipe and get any gunk off of whatever surface it is that you're going to. So using woods is a great example. I have had it not want to really stick.
Right.
And so once you get it started, the rest of it will go. But sometimes getting that base of the tea or the base of something in particular will be hard. So I'm not above using a nail to flick and get it off and get that piece started. Once you get the piece started, the rest will come. So if there's something that's really giving you a hard time, still use the transfer, because otherwise you're never going to get all the pieces to go together. But if not your fingernail, The pick, you can use the edge of it and then hold it down while you're going.
Right.
And then that works really well. Wood is a great example of that because it doesn't, you can't clean the fuzz off wood.
No.
It just stays
there.
there. So that is a great example of something that might need a little bit of help to stay where you put it.
Right. And if your transfer tape isn't made by the same people that
Don't recommend doing that.
Yeah, you don't always get the same. There are different stickinesses. So sometimes the craft vinyl or pressure sensitive, whatever you want to call it, sometimes that is more sticky or less sticky. And
so a great example.
Yes.
I wanted a glitter for something. Everything that we have here is flat. So it's really pretty. It works really well, but there's no glitter. And you guys know I like a little bit of glitter sometimes.
Glitter.
So I went to that J store and I bought some glitter, craft sticky stuff. And I'm like, I don't need transfer. I already got that at home. And I got home and I couldn't get it even off the base. I weeded it fine, but I couldn't, using our transfer, I couldn't even get that off onto the transfer because it wasn't sticky enough. So there was actually, when I went back to the store, I was like, why didn't this work? And I'm actually reading everything now and I'm like, oh, there's a stronger transfer tape because the grit that's in that, it doesn't, you need a stronger amount of adhesive to pull it off. And so that definitely matters. And you can certainly try, but don't be surprised if one brand's transfer tape does not move another brand's vinyl in the same way.
Yes.
So highly recommended to purchase the transfer tape from wherever you're buying the vinyl, because it just doesn't, it doesn't play well with others,
it does
unfortunately.
Not. And when you buy sign or permanent vinyl or something like this online at a place, any Amazon or something like that, sometimes they have multiple types of transfer tape and very little information about what goes with
about
what.
Why they have different types of transfer
so
tape.
sometimes if you're buying from someplace new for the first time and they have multiples, you're probably better off trying both of their transfer tapes until
just buy
you
smaller
learn,
amounts.
Until you learn what
what works with what.
Yeah, because they aren't all the same. And
unfortunately, they are not created equal.
No.
And it's not a matter of theirs is better than theirs. It's that it's designed specifically for their type. So it's not like Joann's doesn't work or ours doesn't. It's not that.
It's just different.
It's literally just designed for a different type of adhesive vinyl.
Right. Definitely.
So just be careful what you're getting and make sure that you do match those up, because it definitely, I was like, man, I got to drive back.
Yep.
And it never dawned on me that there'd be a different amount of adhesive in different things. And I'm like, okay.
Well,
so,
and I knew that there was a different, but when we did our RV, I bought transfer tape from the company, but I didn't realize that they had multiple different types. And so I actually ended up using an older transfer tape that I had from it's probably 8 or 9 years old.
It's probably super sticky, huh?
But I couldn't get, I could use that, but I couldn't get the other stuff to work. Just couldn't get, we could get about halfway, and then we just couldn't get the rest of it. Of course, it was a very detailed design, because I don't do anything easy.
No, of course not.
Why would we do that, right?
Well, and I've worked with different mediums, and trying to transfer. Some things accept the sticky better than others. For instance, the woods and the, but even painted walls, different paints are going to accept better than other paints.
Right.
So if you're trying to put a verse up on the wall or a name up on the wall, sometimes it goes super easy and sometimes it doesn't.
Yep.
And you're like, I did this before. What happened? So the surfaces that you are going to sometimes are also going to give you a little bit different response.
Absolutely.
So be prepared for that. But craft, pressure sensitive, sign, whatever you want to call it, vinyl, can be so much fun to play with. There are a wide variety of uses for it. So we've given you some examples of literally just using it as a sticker. but you can do some other things with it too. So using it as a stencil, so you can actually create a stencil with that and then paint through it. I've done that. So literally sticking it through and painting right through that and then peeling off the sticker when you're done. And then you have this beautiful design. Unlike a stencil that is just sitting on the top, you get a better seal so you don't get paint where you don't want. So it can work very, very nicely as a stencil. But one of my favorites is this guy here. So basically, we did a class with this multiple times. We created, where am I at? We created a different set of fonts. So these fonts with, that's the same letter, these really pretty scrolls and things. These are actually on our site. So if you wanted to get the entire alphabet, you can. Super affordable as well. And the scrolls are on there separately. So you could put the scroll on with a different type of font if you wanted to. And what we did is we put those on the glass. And then you put etching cream. So just like that stencil, you're going to use the negative of that. So once you peel that out, you're going to, I pitched that. So you're going to, I'm like, what did I do with the other half? Oh, yeah, I threw that away. That was really smart, wasn't it? So you're going to use the negative. So the part that's left over of that sticker and put it in there. And then you're going to use either your paint or, I don't know, can you see that?
Stuff it with like that stabilizer. Or the shirt.
I don't know, is that going to work?
It might. That's a little better.
The glare is still pretty bad. So the etching cream, there we go, right there. The etching cream goes through the stencil, and then this is so simple. You leave it on there for 5 minutes and wash it off. And then you peel off your stencil, and you have whatever the shape is in there. So we also did Mickey because we could. So that's just a super simple piece there. But you can get as creative as you want. Obviously, if you're doing something like this, you also need to transfer the holes into your bees because those aren't going to be connected. So you need to pay attention if that's the kind of thing that you're doing.
Right.
But you know, when I created the font there, I made sure that it was all connected.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to etch on any other type of surface besides the glass?
I don't know that I have. I have etched a ton of glass, different qualities of glass.
Yeah.
All different kinds of glass, but I don't know that I have done any other. I don't know that I have, but I've done a lot of glass in my day.
I wonder if
Do
like
you?
I have not. But I was like, not that I want to waste a Yeti or something, but I wonder how
If it
like
would eat into the color.
the grip or whatever to create some sort of
Well, maybe I'll play with
thing. But yeah, sometimes, you know, trying to find an alternate use for it.
that. Right. Yeah, the specific stuff that I have used is the armor etch. You can buy it in small jars, large jars, so depending upon what you're doing. They make, again, beautiful wedding gifts with, like, you know, the monogram kind of thing. For some reason, when we are recently married, we think that our new last name is cool. It gets old after a while, but it's not as cool after a while, but at first it's really neat.
After 20 years, you're like, what?
Well, who cares? It's been my name for a long time. I know what you're talking about. But
we should have another ceremony, and they should like take ours. Every
like
20
it.
years, you change.
Just swap it, yeah.
Except for the hassle that would.
I was going to say, I don't know that I want to deal with the Social Security, but anyway, the gifts are super easy. You know, I have done sets for aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
You know, and bought inexpensive sets at Walmart or Target or wherever. It doesn't have to be a great quality. And I have picked up things at like resale shops and things when you find something that happens to be perfect, a plate, you know, different things like that. So there are a lot of different options that are available. It's just a matter of what is it that you want to do. But gifting an etched piece makes it look super expensive. And the nice thing about etching is that it is dishwasher safe.
Dee said she saw a demo using orange paint stripper on a steel tumbler. have to try
That might work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see where that would be there. Yep. I've definitely used them as template for paint, and obviously for etching. But those are just a couple random pieces. You might have noticed our signs in the store. If you come in, we've got, hoops up on the wall. We've got different things. All of those are craft vinyl that are labeled up on the walls that say, what size the hoops are and those kinds of things.
We probably need to redo that one over there. The one that used to say, please use other door.
Yeah, that one's kind of had better days.
Those window washers.
Those darn window washers, how dare they? Maybe we need to put them on the inside.
I was just thinking the same thing. They don't want, then Karen she'd get them.
You think?
I think she might just scrub those right off.
Right off. Guess one way to find out.
Darned if we do and darned if we don't.
But yeah, the options really are very wide. So there's a lot of things that you can put these on, whether they're small or wide. I've even put my name on my USB sticks, when it looks just like everything else, or put numbers on them, or, so that, okay, this is number 1 blue, this is number 2 blue, and I know that I put these things on this one and that on that one or whatever. So I have done a lot of things with craft vinyl, which may be stupid, but at the time it sounded great. I have decorated the front of my Scan and Cut. I've done a lot of different things.
When I was 16 and I got my first car, I really wanted to put a sign. I really wanted to put Thumper on the back of my window, and my mom was like, no. She's like, you're not doing that, blah, whatever. So I decided that I was going to take graphic design so that I could learn to make my own sign.
Did you now?
I did. I took a VOTEC class with graphic design, and we used the giant plotters. And that's basically what every single person in that class
was made a sign for their window.
They wanted to make signs for their cars or their friends' cars or whatever, and that's what we did. So I got my sign on the back of my car, and my mom was like, I told you couldn't spend your money on that. And I was like,
I
didn't spend a dime. I took it right out of my class.
Very awesome.
So that was my first vinyl sign experience. It was putting it on my car.
Did it go on the outside or the inside?
It went on the outside.
Outside.
Yes.
Yep. So I have certainly put stickers on my car. I have not actually created stickers. I know that you have, but I have not actually created stickers to go on my car. I used to have like the family and all of those things on the back when I drove a minivan. I graduated from the minivan, so I don't currently have anything on my car except for a dent that some guy put in my bumper.
You used to be able to go, so Gibraltar Trade Center is no longer there, so there used to be a sign guy there. And
there did.
Dave used to get letters, that's where he would letter his vehicles.
For
he
the
would
car.
go there, and they would let you design it, and then they would stitch it all out, and of course they're big plotters, so you could have
whatever you needed, the side of the van,
right, and then we would be out there with the spray and the credit card.
And the credit card smoothing it out, right, yeah.
And then
absolutely.
Then with the hair dryer trying to remove it like years later when it started to crumble. So yeah, that was my first experience.
So
with that.
it's a really fun tool, and you can have whether it's decorating a wall, whether it's decorating your car, whether it's decorating a mug. There are so many things that can be done, and it's not hard.
No.
There are some things that might be a little tedious, and it's definitely some things that you want to take time on and not rush through to get the exact thing. But with our new vinyl blade, we can get really tiny and thin lines. Again, when you're doing that, definitely don't rush the weeding because you might lose some of those details come with that. And I'm pretty sure it's static cling. At least that's my opinion of how that's happening. But it's... Oh, Lord. Anyway, you guys know that I use my Scan and Cut a lot. Vinyls have been in the past anyways, one of that and paper are the things that I do the most with my Scan and Cut. So this kind of thing is definitely, bad kind of camera because I'm way off there. But this kind of thing, and I have given a lot of these, and then again that the etched. Lot of gifts have been made using my scan and cut. A lot of things have been done, personal as well, but a lot of gifts have been made. So many fun things to do. So hopefully this answered some questions, maybe opened some doors.
And if you need to start making signs,
you need to start making some signs. One thing we didn't mention last week, and I'm not really sure how we forgot, we actually have all of the Brother
yeah, we do.
on sale. I don't know how we talked about it for an hour and forgot to mention both the heat transfer and the craft vinyl, the Brother stuff. So the tubes, the rolls, they are, when you buy 3 or more, you get 30%, 30, 35, I don't remember. You get a nice percentage, 35% off. So you buy a minimum of 3, you can buy as many as you want, you get 35% off. All of those. So it's a great time to stock up on those colors, and just don't forget your transfer paper. So I hope that you guys enjoyed that, and maybe, again, like I said, it opens a few doors. I think we answered all of your questions, at least the ones that you posted in there. So have a great one. Hope you had a happy 4th. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.